Ще има ли коментари? Защото те са хората откъде да знаят.
Както беше обявено, аз ще бъда модератор на този панел. В него участват представители от няколко страни. Така че, за да усложняваме логистиката, за да спестим време, ще проведем дискусията на английски. Предполагам, че това няма да създаде неудобство и нашите приятели от Възраждане ще проявят присъщата си толерантност.
Ние да не сме от ДПС-та за толерантност ми говориш. Мафия!
Преводач няма ли?
Парички за преводач не имаме ли? Евраци нещо.
Ако може на български.
Аз съм много спокоен.
И ние сме спокойни, ама скоро...
Хайде стига сега, да ще се слушаме, дай вас.
Ще слушаме, как да не слушаме. Ще слушате и народа.
This panel is adopting the euro, relevant experiences and the way forward. This topic is absolutely important and relevant in the context of Bulgaria's recently accelerated efforts to prepare for joining the euro in 2024. We'll have the honor and pleasure now to hear views and observations and to learn from the experience from our distinguished panelists.
Като малък, като не го научиш езика, после е трудно.
Vice Governor and Senior Representative at the EU National Central Bank, all perfectly fit to share experience of the Euro accession. I'm also glad to welcome our top IMF guest, whom I expect to discuss Bulgaria transiting from the currency board to the Euro. Based on the experience of earlier Euro adoptions in other countries, this panel may highlight the importance of implementing the right policies before and after joining the Euro for a successful Euro area membership. Now I'm pleased to introduce the participants. Now I'm pleased to introduce the participants in this panel. After Kammer is the director of the European Department of the International Monetary Fund.
What?
In this capacity, he oversees the IMF's work with Europe. Mr. Kammer was previously the Chief of Staff of the Office of the Managing Director, advising on strategic and operational issues and overseeing operations for the senior management team. Mr. Kammer has rich working experience with countries in Africa, Asia, Europe and the Middle East on a wide range of policy and strategic issues. Let me take this opportunity and say that the European Department played quite a central role in introducing the currency board arrangements in Bulgaria in 1997. Actually, the work started in early 1996. So my advice to the researchers of the true story of the currency board in Bulgaria is to focus on the following three sources: the European Department, the IMF, Ministry of Finance, and of course the Bulgarian National Bank. Torsten Vasle is governor and president of the governing board of the Bank of Slovenia. As such, he is a member of the governing council of the ECB and therefore votes in monetary policy decisions at the euro area level. Let me remind you that Slovenia joined the EU in May 2004 and joined the euro area in January 2007, the first to achieve that among the new EU accession countries. Mr. Vasle himself, before the Bank of Slovenia, he had a career as the Minister of Finance and the Institute for Macroeconomic Analysis and Development in Slovenia. It's a very good colleague and friend. It's always been very, very open and helpful in sharing relevant experiences of Slovenia and Slovenia's central bank. Michael Fauland is Vice Governor of the Croatian National Bank since July 2013. Now in his second term in this position. By coincidence, or perhaps not, Croatia joined the EU in the same month of July 2013.
Имах колега, дето говореше плевен инглиш.
Then in the summer of 2020, the Croatian Kuna joined the ERM2
Той беше
on
от
the
плевен.
same date together with the Bulgarian left. And in 3 weeks' time, Croatia will effectively become the 20th member of the euro area. Mr. Fauland himself started his professional career at the research directorate of the Croatian National Bank. He also spent several years at IMF, where we had the opportunity to overlap for a year or so in the office of the executive director.
Работа в IMF, Международния валутен фонд. Нямаше да е тук, да. И сигурно е и хомосексуалист. В духа на времето. Още един IMF-ец.
He currently also chairs the Committee on Financial Markets at the OECD and is a member of the Committee on the Global Financial System and the Markets Committee Bank for International Settlement. At the same time, Mr. Hulen is Professor of Financial Policies, Institutions and Markets at the University of Amsterdam. After work in Bulgaria in the first half of the 90s,
Изрусен даже. Познах за обърнатата резба. Човекът е изрусен.
So, without further ado now, I'll give the floor to Mr. Kamer.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to be in Sofia here for this event. Let me start with the bottom line. In my view, becoming a full member of the euro area offers important benefits for Bulgaria, strengthened institutions, and a seat at the table when the ECB determines monetary policy for all euro area members. But joining the euro area is not a panacea for all of Bulgaria's challenges, and completing the accession process will require more policy work and the determination to overcome the obstacles that are still ahead. So there is work ahead, but Bulgaria has shown in the past that it can meet crucial challenges like these.
Very crucial challenges.
In more detail. While euro area membership comes with challenges, Bulgaria has 2 decades of experience with an unmovable exchange rate. Formally introducing the euro means giving up monetary independence for good. This is a consequential decision. But Bulgaria has operated a currency board since 1997, when it traded exchange rate stability promised by a credible fixed exchange rate regime, and since 2000 has been pegged to the euro. So monetary policy has been tethered to the decision of the ECB for almost a generation. Bulgaria's policymakers are already well aware that in such a setting, fiscal and structural policies are the main tools for macroeconomic management and for fostering economic convergence. The currency board has served Bulgaria well. One reason is that the currency board has brought economic stability. This is largely because it was supported by disciplined fiscal policy, thanks to which Bulgaria enjoys one of the lowest public debt ratios among all EU member countries. This is a key asset in the current turbulent environment, which is characterized by increases in long-term yields and spreads across Europe. We have also seen some progress on structural reforms, even though more work is ahead. And the work needs to focus on fostering faster income convergence with the EU and to increase living standards. I would also argue that Bulgaria's currency board and strong fiscal position were among the factors that had helped shield it from some of the financial market stresses that affected many of the Eastern European economies following the turbulent financial conditions since the summer. It is clear that adopting the euro promises important benefits. First, joining the euro would reduce transaction costs for trade and financial flows by eliminating all currency conversion costs, thereby increasing economic efficiency. Second, and perhaps more importantly, euro introduction would remove uncertainty about the country's future policy framework, strengthen external credit ratings, and further reduce public and private funding costs. This would help foreign and domestic investment and thus further higher economic growth. Third, while joining the euro will not eliminate sovereign crisis risk, it would largely shelter Bulgaria from volatile capital flows and eliminate any residual risks of speculative attacks against the currency that disproportionately affect small open economies. This means it would further strengthen financial sector stability, including by giving Bulgarian banks access to the ECB's lending and emergency facilities to support liquidity needs in emergency situations. This would add to the already large gains from having joined the banking union. Last but not least, introducing the euro would give Bulgaria a seat at the table where monetary policy that affects the country is decided. Under the currency board, Bulgaria imports the ECB's monetary policy decisions without any input into the decision making. The Baltics are a good example of how strong post-accession policies can help make euro area membership a success. The underlying fiscal positions strengthened, particularly in Latvia and Lithuania, with fiscal balances close to zero post-euro adoption and prior to the COVID crisis. In this context, the cost of public debt fell, with government bond spreads vis-à-vis German bonds being about 2 percentage points lower on average after adoption. Before the energy crisis triggered by Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the inflation gap with the euro area remained positive but small and stable at about 1 percentage point. It was sustainable because strong structural policies supported a positive productivity differential vis-à-vis the euro area. Among these policies were sound and stable labor market institutions that, by delivering labor market flexibility, also ensured that real wages remained broadly in line with productivity. This, in turn, contributed to maintaining strong external competitiveness. In addition, strong supervisory and macroprudential policies helped sustain financial stability. Overall, the three Baltic countries gradually but steadily built significant policy and macroeconomic buffers post-adoption, building on the efforts they had already displayed prior to adoption. And euro membership itself also contributed to a vast reduction in risks of disorderly capital outflows or sudden stops during periods of stress. This in turn also facilitated the conduct of fiscal policy. What does this mean for Bulgaria? In a nutshell, to thrive before and after euro adoption, Bulgaria will need to keep up the good work, maintaining strong policy discipline, retaining flexible labor markets, and carrying out growth-enhancing structural reforms. But let me be more specific. Bulgaria should continue its tradition of fiscal responsibility and preserve the hard-won gains in this area. This will be important to continue fostering macroeconomic and financial stability under the euro. Importantly, accelerating reforms to boost productivity and competitiveness is needed to make euro adoption a success. This is crucial as trend unit labor costs have been growing faster in Bulgaria than in the euro area because wage growth pushed by labor shortages outpaced productivity improvements. Strengthening governance, increasing transparency, and fighting corruption are crucial to improve the business environment and increase the efficiency of public spending and the quality of public investment. This will promote a more productive and more inclusive economy. Investing in human capital to align education, health, and social protection outcomes with those of EU member states is also important. For example, education outcomes remain well below the averages of EU member countries or newer EU member states. In addition, Bulgaria will benefit from addressing skill mismatches and boosting labor force participation to help ease labor market pressures. And continuing to promote the green transition and digitalization will help sustain growth over the longer term. For instance, the use of digital technology by businesses and digital skills are among the lowest in Europe, notwithstanding progress made in building the supporting digital infrastructure and developing e-government. Let me close. Bulgaria's currency board has fostered a commitment and discipline that has contributed to the economic success of the past quarter century. With equally strong commitment and discipline, euro adoption could contribute to an equally successful journey over the next quarter century. Thank you.
Allah Akbar.
As you noticed, the ratio of the Bulgarian debt towards its gross product is very small comparative to this ratio in the European Union. In Bulgaria, this ratio is about 25%, and in the European Union, this is around 95%. So, would you please comment on this issue? Because it looks that when Bulgaria enters the Eurozone, it will have to pay back some debts that it hasn't taken. And as there is a tendency for the Bulgarian debt to go up with time and the debt of the European Union to go down, wouldn't it be wiser to join the Eurozone after 10 years when this difference between these ratios will be much smaller?
Thank you. The questions will be answered to that. So first, all the participants will make their presentations. So now I give the floor to Mr. Kosovar.
So, good morning to everybody, and let me begin with thanking the organizers and my dear colleagues from your central bank for inviting me here. I'm really very glad to be here to present our Slovenian experience through the process of adopting euro and afterwards, because it was a very positive development for us, and that's why my intention today is to present different aspects of this process and to steer this obviously very delicate debate you are facing. So, allow me to start with a slightly broader context of my country, namely after our independence more than 30 years ago. We were a small and very open economy. So we decided in the beginning that we need some shielding for our common institutions from the European integration, and there were 4 important decisions adopted at that time. So on the political level, we decided to enter the European Union as soon as possible. We also needed protection in a military sense, so we decided to opt for the NATO as well. And as a small and open economy, already very integrated into the European environment, we decided to go for the euro as well, and of course decided to join the most developed club in economic terms, that is OECD. So there were some 3 or 4 very important decisions adopted at the beginning of the euro process. And basically the whole idea, the whole base of our success is that we were able to find a political consensus at the very beginning of the process. So basically, all the political parties from the left side of the political spectrum to the right side of the political spectrum decided at the beginning of our transition period that we will join the euro. And ever since, there was not a single political party in my country which is opposing the euro project. Moreover, there is not a single politician of any prominence who is opposing the project, because there are very clear benefits we are witnessing during the process, at the time of adoption, and after the adoption these past 50 years. So, based on that, the second crucial element, or the second crucial moment, was that we prepared very elaborated plan how to proceed on this path towards Europe. So there was a coordination between main decisions makers in Slovenia, meaning government, meaning ourselves, central bank, and meaning also the parliament, because it was a very complicated process in terms of legislation as well. So basically the preparation started 3 years prior to Euro adoption, and it was, when I'm looking backward, an example of an excellent management. So basically only 3 people were at the top, and everybody, and they were able to attract all the talent we had in Slovenia back then, because it was not a politically controversial process, and everybody was willing to contribute to this important goal for our country. So each side performed our own task in coordination with others. And of course, what was also an important crucial step was a public campaign to raise an awareness and at the same time to prepare the public for this important event. So what we did, of course, was we started a lot of informational material. We opened a dedicated web page when our side, so people in charge explained what are the benefits, what are also the moments which were not so positive back then. People were able to ask the question. Then the second thing was that we organized a lot of events like this one today. So we invited different parts of our society, we invited different structures of our society to participate, to write their doubts and to have a forum to communicate with them. And here, as I said, we had a lot of these events, but let's not fool yourself that you can have enough of them. It's never enough. There is ever-rising appetite of different parts of the society to have more information.
Твърде много педераса на Европейския парламент.
This umbrella of public campaign, we did a campaign of double pricing prior to adoption of euro, so the people were able to see what is the price back then in our national currency and what would be the price. Part of this program was also the distribution of special calculators, which will today most probably a special application for the mobile phone, so the people were able to calculate the prices in euros and the prices in Slovenian dollar back then and see what the differences will be. Of course, there were also some elements which helped us with this process, one of them being that Slovenia is bordering Austria. Slovenia is also bordering Italy, and we had a lot of touch on a daily basis with Eurosur. Moreover, due to our past experience of high elevated inflation in former Yugoslavia, a lot of transactions were already taking place, first with Deutschmarks and then in Euro. So people were familiar with the whole story, and of course this helped us. So after 2 years of preparation, with a good political background, with
Всичко може с такива идиоти.
of professional public, of strong support of general public, we adopted Euro at the beginning of 2007. So, looking backwards, Slovenia was among the first 10 countries who joined the European Union in this process of big enlargement. We were among the first three countries who joined the exchange rate mechanism, and finally we were the first member state who joined the Euro. And now, looking back at this time and the period afterwards, what are the benefits and what are maybe disadvantages of the whole process? And there are always two stories, two events surfacing when I'm discussing the experience of Slovenia. And the first negative aspect might be that at the time of the changeover, prices went up in Slovenia. But of course, this was a very visible process, the process which was accompanied with a lot of debate. But looking backward, at the end of the day, prices went up at approximately 0.3 percentage points to 0.5 percentage points. And comparing this to 15 years of price stability we had after the adoption of the euro, I think it was a price for Then the second important argument, especially for us central bankers, is that the euro adoption joined the euro area and the ECB as
фашистска Германия.
Introduced the euro area, the country will lose its sovereignty in the course of conducting its own monetary policy. But is it really possible for a country like Slovenia, 2 million population, to have its own monetary policy? I don't think so.
Швейцарските банки.
Yes, we were able to decide what the interest rate will be for my country, for 2 million population. But now, after joining the euro, we are part of the governing council and deciding on the monetary policy for the whole euro area, so approximately 350 million population. So, I'm personally convinced that we didn't lose much. On the other side, there are clear benefits for different parts of the society. If I start with the business sector, Slovenia was always a small economy. For example, if one compares our GDP to our exports, we basically export 85% of everything we produce in Slovenia. So there are huge benefits for business sector of having euro, having no additional risk with exchange rate and being part of the stable monetary union, stable banking union. As for the citizens, as I said, we are bordering Italy with euro, we are bordering Austria with euro. When we are traveling, we are mostly oriented towards European countries, so it's much easier to travel on a daily basis if you have the same currency. You have better feeling what the prices abroad are, what is expensive in your country, what is not so expensive in your country. So clearly there are big benefits for the households, for the citizens as well. And third group which benefited significantly is of course the government and the public finances. Now we are part of the common European market. We are able to issue bonds on European market, and of course on one side our credit ratings went up because of euro adoption, and our price of that went down because of the same reason. So it was in terms of general society, we benefited as a whole as well, because preparations for the euro, there were a time of deep structural reforms. So we aligned our public finances with the good standards of our peers in the euro area. We were able to lower inflation and to solve some structural issues we really had before adopting the euro. So the overall process was very successful. And this is also reflected in the numbers which were already mentioned by our colleagues. For example, at the time of adoption of the euro, around 72% of our citizens were strongly supporting the euro process. Now, after 50 years of having euro, the number is even higher. It's higher than 85%, and Slovenia is always among the 3 best performing countries in terms of trust to the euro. So, to conclude with, I think, as I said, it's very, very important, it's of crucial importance to reach a consensus on the project, to have a good management of the project, and then to have a successful changeover of the euro. But what is even more important is that you start to prepare for the time after your adoption as well, because it will be a shock for you. Namely, it will be a positive shock, but still, it might happen that you will have a better rating as well. The doors for taking debt abroad will open even more. The debt will be cheaper, so the money might be flowing to your country due to this positive moment. And please be prepared for this period, because as was the experience of Slovenia, a lot of possibilities for funding abroad also fueled the credit boom in Slovenia, and that at the end of the day, in a way, emphasized the economic crisis which started in 2008 and 2009. So preparations are very important, but the thinking about what will happen after the euro adoption might be